How good are you at asking for help? How good are you at asking for help? Do you ask for help when you need it? I thought I did, and I want to share a little story with you from 2019 about asking for help. So I have a cup of tea with me, and this container that I'm drinking from, it's not really deep. Can you call it a cup? Yeah, I think you can call it a cup. If you're watching the video, then you can see it on the video, but if not, that's okay. It's one of those coffee cups, but I put tea in it to keep me warm while I'm talking, while I'm reading, while I'm going about my day-to-day life. Anyway, this was given to me when I was in Ireland, and so it's fitting that I'm drinking from this as I'm sharing this story from the retreat that I was at in Ireland in 2019. So let me take a sip of this, and you take a sip of whatever you're drinking. And if you don't have a drink, that's okay. Take a deep breath, just settle in for the next few minutes as you listen to this story. So in 2019, it was my, I guess, second spiritual awakening, you can call it. And I was at a place where deep spiritual transformation was taking place. Like I knew I was being shifted beneath the surface even more than where I was at. And in another podcast, I'll explain my whole journey of how I ended up at this retreat, because so many synchronistic things happened in the years prior that set up the seed to blossom in the way that it did in that year. And so to keep on point with this story, because this is the most important thing I want to share, is when I was there, we all stayed in cottages and we all were living by the seaside, the ocean. And imagine there's four of us in each cottage, and every morning we'd meet up at the coach's cottage, my coach Philip, because he was hosting this retreat. We'd meet up in the morning and kind of touch base, see where we're at, and then we'll get on with the day and whatever activities he had planned. So we're about 2 or 3 days in, and I'm not, this is my first retreat like this, doing deep emotional work, and I'm not feeling like I fit in at all. Like I didn't feel like I landed, for so many reasons. One being my age. Most people were older than me. Two, I thought everyone was financially more successful than me. Three, I thought, they've all got more life experience than me. They're all married and they're in partnerships or relationships, or just generally have more life experience than me. So like, what am I doing in this room? Do I really belong here? Why don't I feel like I fit in? And this is a feeling I had for a long time. And so that was coming back up as well, I guess, in the mix, of just being in school and not really feeling like I fit in and not really knowing my place. And so in the morning, he checks in with everyone. He checks in just to generally get a sense of the room, and it's quiet. So imagine there's a fire in the background. It's silent because we're in the countryside, and there's about 20 people in the room. And he goes to me. I'm hoping he doesn't pick me, but he looks at me and he goes, "Vipul, how you doing?" And I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to answer. And I was like, honestly, I don't feel like I've landed. I don't feel like I'm really here. Yeah, like my mind is somewhere else. I don't know. I'm trying to be here, but my body and my mind feel like they're somewhere else. But I know deep down my soul is meant to be here, right? So there's some disconnect. And he said, "Are you angry?" And I was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, I don't really feel that angry. I just don't really feel anything, to be honest. And he was like, I think you're really angry. I think you're really angry. I think you're angry at yourself. I think you're angry at your parents. I think you're angry at the world. And we went back and forth on that. And I said, you're probably right. And this conversation lasted only a few minutes. And then he ends the conversation by saying, do you think you're good at asking for help? I was like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good at asking for help. And he said, respectfully, that's bullshit. I don't think you're good at asking for help. And then he stands up and he looks around the room. There's 20 other people in the room, looks around the room and he says, if Vipul was to ask you for help this week, how many of you would help him? 20 people put their hands up and looked at me. And in that moment, I felt everyone in the room supporting me, an overpouring of love and connection and support. And he said, look around the room. And I saw everyone's hands up and I felt so emotional, like my tears were coming to my eyes. And then he looks back at me and he says, ask. This week is only going to be as good as your ability to lean in. And so I want to put that to you. Where do you need help? Who can you reach out to? And before you even do that, it's admitting to yourself that you need help. Because we all do. And that's okay. We're humans. We're wired to connect. We're social creatures at heart. We're wired to connect and to bond and to feel loved and supported by one another. We all want that. We all want that. We all deserve that. We all deserve to be seen, heard, held, respected. And we all need help at different stages in life with different things because we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always evolving. And you'll be surprised how much people are willing to help if you just ask. So I'll leave that with you for today. I love you, I'm sending you blessings, and I wish you well. Speak to you again soon.